President Lee, fellow Rotarians, and very welcome guests. I was told that during this 5-minute speech, I would introduce myself, my interests, my work, my volunteer activities. So I will do just that in that order. My name is Jeremy Morris-Jarrett. I was born in New York from a French mother and a Jamaican father. I grew up in the sunny city of Marseille in the south of France and studied at the Institute of Political Studies in Paris. Though not very famous abroad, this school has among its former students the last 4 presidents of France. For me, it was quite an achievement to get in. Interests. My interests are quite academic. A way to sum up is to say I'm interested in just about anything except sports and cars, which can be somewhat socially crippling. I like history, science, philosophy, economics, literature, and so on. Some of my favorite books are from Murakami Haruki, Albert Camus, Milan Kundera, and some 19th century guys, Balzac, Zola, Oscar Wilde. But these days I read less fiction. Philosophy is one field I particularly enjoy. I think some of the Greek philosophers who had a very bad press over the last 2,000 years might have had a point. For example, the Stoics. Being Stoic is perceived as being without emotion. But the core principle of Stoicism is that even if we can't control what happens to us, we can control our response to these events. This idea is at the very center of individual freedom, but also of happiness. If we can control our emotions, we can be happy in any circumstances. Another idea I quite like is a term coined by a French philosopher from the 1930s called Emmanuel Mounier. He coined the term personalism. He thought that the individual person should always be the focus of our attention, but he didn't like the word individualism. Individualism rings of selfishness. Personalism takes into account the individual in its fullness, including its social and spiritual aspects. More than universal love or solidarity, which are vague and idealistic, I forgot one. Respect is the most fundamental value. More than universal love or solidarity, which can be idealistic, respect is something we can all use in our everyday life to promote a fair society. Respect is the foundation of character and the cornerstone of the ethical edifice. So this is the sort of thing I think about while I'm sitting in my bus going to work. Work. I've had various jobs so far. I've been an economic journalist. I've been an analyst at the French embassy in Wellington. I've also worked at the de facto French embassy in Taiwan, an investment promotion agency in Harbin, China. That's a place that's between Russia, North Korea, and Mongolia. Charming place. I also taught English during my exchange program in Tokyo. I like Asia a lot. Now I am the stats person at Payments New Zealand, where I produce financial reports for the banks. Working with Excel can be fun. You get to solve people's problems using very simple tricks, but they seem to be utterly amazed. So I do feel a bit like a magician from time to time. I have other projects. First, I want to be a wedding videographer on the side. Having produced travel videos over the past 9 years, I've recently made a few wedding movies for friends. Most wedding videographers make documentary-style videos. I strive to produce movies which are creations of art in themselves. So if you or anyone you know is getting married, perhaps I can show them my work. They might be interested. You can form an orderly queue at the end of my speech. My second project is a cocktail bar. I want to start the bar with the greatest number of cocktails on menu in the world. That is around 3,000. People could select them from iPads on the table using cocktail families and ingredients. The software is almost ready. The next stage is where the real challenge starts. Finally, my volunteer activity. To be honest, I haven't had so much so far. I am part of the communications committee of this club, where I hear my video skill will also be useful. But my third project over the next few months is to volunteer in an organization called Family Budgeting, which helps families manage their personal finance.
Now this has to fit with all the other projects that I've mentioned, and also with little baby Vincent, my 2-month-old son, or as we call him, Little Squishy Muffin. So it's a very busy, challenging, interesting, and exciting year that lies ahead. Thank you.